All right, update on the 93 first gen wiring frustrations. Now, last night, after much, should I say, choice words and frustration, I finally figured out all the wiring, got my key switch starter wire going. So that was a little bit of a challenge, but it's done, working. I can crank with the key now, no push button needed. In the end, it was the ignition switch that was the problem. So we figured that out, got that fixed. Now that I cranked the engine with the switch, I'm now wiring up my fuel shutoff solenoid so that it will do the same thing, activate with the switch, and I'm not having to turn on a toggle switch or something like that. You turn the switch on, the fuel shutoff solenoid activates, and boom, she should fire. So that's what we're working on now. Electrical gremlins are, at least out here in the engine bay, are pretty much kind of tied up and all complete and working. Once we get all this fuel shutoff solenoid, everything else going, we're going to move into the cab and I'm going to start cleaning up under the dash there. So follow along, we'll get the fuel shutoff solenoid wired up and see if this thing will fire.
You should be fine.
Is it holding? Did it come off?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Open the door. This thing smokes like a freaking chimney. Smokes like a chimney. We gotta open up the door. Get some. Okay.
Look at this guy.
Good. Oh, that's next on the list. Picked up a super good condition ram horn. Didn't know for sure if I was going to get it because it got supposedly lost in the mail, but it showed up yesterday. Really good shape. It's got all the nuts, the springs, everything's here to go. I've got holes in my hood where this is supposed to be. So we're supposed to set it on there. We can set it on, take a look.
You just need to put your two.
So I need to I gotta get a gasket. So got the holes here already. Set her on there. Bam! We're official. It's official. We're actually a Dodge Ram. So I got some gasket material I'm going to put around the bottom here because
mine has gasket.
I don't want to scratch my paint. So I bought a gasket, little, to make your own gaskets. I'm going to get a little gasket cut out for around the bottom of this, put it on there, and then I'm going to get it bolted on, and we'll have a nice, clean Ram hood ornament on my truck finally. Okay, guys, we got the old Ram head on the hood. Just another thing that needs to be done on this. Seems like the list is endless at times. We found one, got a good deal on it, so went ahead and pulled the trigger. All right, we got the maiden voyage with the ignition switch wired up properly, so it'll turn over with the ignition switch, and we got our fuel shutoff solenoid wired up with the new relay. Hopefully she'll fire. contact. Now we gotta test the shutdown. If I turn the key off, will the fuel shut off the fuel? There it is. Alright, so we made it. We finally got there. This all started with me just wanting to wire up a fuel shutoff solenoid. Once I got into the wiring, it was all downhill from there. Okay, we've tested the startup, the shutdown. We got the fuel shutoff solenoid wired up. I've got to do a bunch of now wiring cleanup in here. This was kind of just hurried up and wired to make everything, make sure it would work. Now we know it works. We're gonna clean up the wiring bay and start getting all that buttoned up so it looks good, and then on to the interior wiring next. Good luck to me, right? But we're getting there. Just takes time and patience and some money, of course, but we're not into this a lot of money. Obviously a fuel shutoff solenoid, I think that was like 80 bucks or something like that. A little fuse block, that was 20 bucks. Some wiring, little wiring here and there. So not a lot of money to fix the wiring and get the fuel shutoff solenoid and the starter and everything wired up to the ignition switch. Ignition switch, you can just get them at any parts store. They're pretty common on all these Dodges. It was like 45 bucks. So not too bad to have the convenience of just turning the key on and everything running the way it's supposed to, and not having to turn the key, flip switches. I felt like an airplane every time I got in here. I had to flip a bunch of switches and turn the key to get it to start. So now it's just key on, crank, and we're good. So that's a wrap for the fuel shutoff solenoid and the ignition key trigger start with the relay. So remember, guys, take care of your 12 valve and it'll take care of you.